Hey YouTube, this is Primetime Pokemon. In this video, I'll be doing some Pokemon TCG online gameplay. I'll be battling with a Rayquaza Vikavolt deck. This deck placed 9th at the Latin America International Championships. So I'll head on over to the online TCG, give the general strategy for the deck, and then get into battling. Here's a look at the deck that I'll be battling with. General strategy would be to use Rayquaza GX as the primary attacker. Dragon Break does 30 damage times the amount of grass and lightning energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Several Pokemon in this deck allow you to accelerate energy into play, starting with the ability on Rayquaza GX in Stormy Winds. The best method of accelerating energy into play would be to use Vikavolt's Strong Charge ability. It allows you to move a grass and lightning energy from your deck to your Pokemon in any way that you'd like. And then you can also use Zeraora GX, its full voltage GX attack, to accelerate energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon. Zeraora GX is a decent secondary attacker. Plasma Fist does 160 damage. This card also has a great ability on it, allowing Pokemon that have a lightning energy on them to retreat for free. Marshadow is in the deck for Let Loose. Same thing goes for Tapu Lele for its Wonder Tag ability. And then Dhelmise is in the deck mainly to take down things like Lycanroc GX and to combat Shrine of Punishment decks. As far as the trainer cards go, the only thing a little bit different would be Lysander Labs. This turns off or prevents all effects of tool cards. And then 14 total energy cards in the deck, 7 grass, 7 lightning. So let's head on over to Versus and see what's out there. Going into Lost Thunder, I actually like the Rayquaza GX Vikavolt deck best. It is still doing very well, as you can see by the 9th place finish, but it isn't as good in my opinion. Zeraora GX really works nicely in this deck. So if I was able to get a couple of Grubbin on the bench, I have potential to get a turn 2 Vikavolt here. I'll go like that. Go done. Want to save the Rayquaza GX in hand for Stormy Winds. This is a Lost March deck that I'm playing against. I like Lost March a little bit better than the deck that I'm using. I've actually beat the Rayquaza GX Vikavolt Zeraora GX deck before with Lost March. At the League Challenge I went to, placed first with a Lost March deck. Strategy with that deck would be to get as many Pokemon into the Lost Zone as possible, and then do major damage when attacking with Natu and Jumpluff. So my opponent already has a full bench. What I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to Nest Ball and get a Grubbin on the bench. Probably going to Ultra Ball and get Tapu Lele, potentially for Lily. I think I am going to get rid of 1 Vikavolt and 1 Rayquaza. I can get those back with Rescue Stretcher. So I'm going to Tapu Lele. What else do I have over here? 4 Rare Candy. I do have the Rescue Stretcher. And plenty of energy. So let's Lily. And then I will go for 6 total cards. I could also have used Tempest GX, but I think I'll wait on using a GX attack. So let's Lily here. There's a Lysander Labs, which is useful. Dhelmise would be a good card to use in this deck because I don't like trading prize cards with my opponent. They get to take 2, I only get to take 1. So I think I am going to do that. Do I have any energy in the discard? Still do not. I could Rescue Stretcher those 2 Pokemon. I think I'll hold off on that for now. I'll hold off on putting Dhelmise down just because I can't really do anything else. I could get another... I think I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to get another Grubbin out there. And I'm going to discard the Dhelmise and then the Lysander Labs. And I'm going to get another Grubbin. Now I can use Rescue Stretcher and get those 3 Pokemon in the discard back into my deck. At this point, I really could use Tempest GX, but then I would get rid of both energy recyclers. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, just because I can accelerate the energy into play with the Zeraora GX. I think I'm going to do that. I really do not have high hopes of beating this deck, because once my opponent gets 9 Pokemon into the Lost Zone, the game's pretty much over. That hurt right here. Tempest GX did not get any rare candy. Did not get any Vikavolt either. I could get one Vikavolt set up with the combination of Ultra Ball and Volkner. I'll certainly do that. And I really do not need many energy in play to knock out some of these attackers of my opponents. I would assume that it'll be a quick game 1 loss for myself. I personally don't like to scoop, but I probably could already. My opponent has 3 Pokemon there in the Lost Zone, so that does 60 damage. They can't attack, so that gives me an option here. Let's see what I'll do. I want to get a Vikavolt set up, so I am going to use Volkner for the rare candy. Do I need a lightning energy? I do not. So there's that, and then I can Ultra Ball away a Guzma and a Tapu Lele. I have the Cynthia already in hand. Vikavolt there. So then I can at least knock out Natu. I would like to have knocked out the Jumpluff, but my opponent still can't knock me out unless they get a lot more Pokemon into the Lost Zone. So let's evolve one of the Grubbin into Vikavolt. Accelerate some energy into play. I could Mysterious Treasure for something. I'll hold off on that. So let's get the Rayquaza set up. There we go. That is set up. I could put down another Rayquaza. Do not have any energy in the discard, and I have both energy recyclers in the discard as well. So if I were to do this, which I'm going to, I'm not going to use Stormy Winds. I don't want to lose something important. And I think I am going to attack here, doing 120. So I'll get a prize card here. There's a Guzma, that's helpful. Only 4 cards in my opponent's hands, so maybe they will not draw into something useful. So now they have 2 attackers ready to go. And they just don't want the Jumpluff knocked out because it has that free retreat cost on it. However, I am going to Strong Charge first, and I am going to knock out the Jumpluff. Now I'll use the Guzma, put the Jumpluff up, and attack with this Rayquaza. And then I am going to put an energy here, just in case I can get Zeraora on the bench, and then I can retreat Vikavolt for free. So there's the knockout, 210 damage. There's a Rayquaza. Not too useful yet. So my opponent either must have Skiploom in hand or a Guzma or some type of supporter. And they are going to scoop. Now that is the problem I've seen with Lost March, is that if you can't get Pokemon into the Lost Zone, the deck is pretty easy to beat because you're looking at 40 HP on Natu, 70 HP on Jumpluff. So they decided to scoop, so 1-0 so far. Let's go for another battle. That is a good feeling there, taking down Lost March. A colorless water type deck. Not exactly sure what this will be. Could be some type of Quagsire deck. I did lose the coin flip. And I have to go second. I'll have to put Rayquaza out there. We'll be able to get a Grubbin on the bench. A couple of Ultra Balls as well. And Volkner. So turn 2, I potentially could get Vikavolt set up. Hopefully I can go 2-0 here. So there is a Froakie. So this is some type of Greninja GX deck. I haven't had much experience facing Greninja GX yet. Greninja Break is a very good deck in the expanded format. Really like playing it in the previous standard format. You could spread damage around with the ability, I believe, on Greninja. They're going to Cynthia. Complete trash in their hand, I think. Not able to use one card. There's a double colorless, and there is the Alolan Vulpix. They probably want to Beacon. So, I can't really do any damage here with anything. I could get another Grubbin out there with Nest Ball, and then I could Rare Candy. I think I am going to do that. I am going to Nest Ball here for another Grubbin. I have 2 Vikavolt. I have 4 Rare Candy. And then I am going to... Let me do this. Unless my opponent can modify my hand, I'm going to get the Rare Candy and an Energy and play for next turn. That way I can get Vikavolt and then use Cynthia. Hopefully I don't top deck anything too great next turn. So I'm going to pass there and see what my opponent does. 5 total cards in their hand. Let's see what Frogadier can do. They can spread damage around with the ability, and that's what they did. They're going to Cynthia again. So I should be able to knock out this Frogadier next turn. I just need 3 energy in play, and that is the case. They're using Suicune GX as well. Strange ability on this card. They use Brooklet Hill to go and get a Froakie. So they need 3 energy there. And they are going to Beacon, I would assume, for the Greninja, and then potentially a Alolan Ninetales GX. Nope, a Frogadier and a Greninja. So this is strictly a water type deck. So I do have to get rid of, I believe, let's see here. I have to get rid of either a Cynthia and an Energy. I want to keep that, so I'm going to get rid of these 2 things. Go and get a Vikavolt. So then I can use Rare Candy. Let's see, they're going to continue to try and attack Grubbin there, so I'm going to evolve it. And then I can attach an Energy. I am going to do that here. I need a Grass Energy on Rayquaza, but that's alright. Cynthia here. There's a Zeraora. I think I'm going to put that out there. I can then put a Grass here, Lightning here. That worked out. Strong Charge for a Grass and a Lightning. Grass here. Otherwise, Dragon Break cannot work. And then a Lightning on Zeraora. And then I am going to knock out the Alolan Vulpix. And I do get a Marshadow. If only I had Marshadow last turn, I could have messed with my opponent's hand. Now they can get Greninja GX out there. They have a Rangaroo. So they're going to do 20 more damage, probably to this Grubbin. No, they're going for the Rayquaza GX. Not exactly sure on the math here. 110, 130 to one of my benched. So they can knock out the Vikavolt if they get a Water Energy onto Greninja GX. So that will hurt, but I can still do a fair amount of damage here. So in retrospect, I should have evolved that other Grubbin, but that's okay. And that is what happens when you're not exactly sure of what some cards can do. I haven't had much experience against Greninja GX or Suicune GX, and my opponent may not have an energy in hand. If they do not, and they can't get rid of any other cards, they are out of luck. Otherwise, they could use something and then instruct. So my opponent is thinking, and they are going to pass. So unfortunately, they did not have anything in their hand for an energy. So now I can Volkner and get another Vikavolt set up. And that is what I'm going to do. Volkner for the... I have to make sure I do it correctly. An Ultra Ball here. Just making sure I didn't have anything in the discard. And then I'm going to just call it good. Ultra Ball away the Delmise, and then probably an energy card, probably the grass. And then I'll go and get Vikavolt. The game is pretty much over now. I can get enough energy into play to knock out pretty much anything, I believe. So I will do this. And then I can strong charge twice. So that's 5. I could get 9 total energy. 9 times 30 would be 270. I would really only need 8 times 30 would be 240. So I do not need 4 more energy. But let's see how many I have. I do have enough. I can actually get a Vikavolt set up to do 150 damage if I'd like. And they are going to just scoop. They knew the game was over. Anytime you can get 2 Vikavolts set up and accelerate 4 energy into play, that's 120 damage right there for Rayquaza GX. Let's go on to, what is this now? Game 3. 2-0 so far, 2 scoops. Let's make it 3 for 3 here and get another scoop. So this looks to be a Psychic Lightning Fairy. Let's go Tails here. I did win the coin flip. I'll go first. There's a Grubbin. There's a Rayquaza. Ooh, look at this nice hand. For sure, turn 2 Vikavolt. Put Rayquaza out there, and I'll put both Grubbin down. If I can draw into another Vikavolt, it would be pretty much game over already. Put the energy on the Rayquaza. Hopefully my opponent does not modify my hand. So this is a Passimian deck. That's what it is. So I'm actually going first. I could Guzma up that Passimian. It doesn't make any sense. It does need 2 energy on it. So if they had a double colorless, they could then do 20 damage to each. But I'm going to go like this, hoping that I top deck something good next turn. Not much for me here. Passimian there. I believe there's a Passimian that does a certain amount of damage times the number of Passimian in play. So this is a Shrine deck. I desperately need Lysander Labs. Underground Expedition, getting some cards into their hand. So right now this Passimian increases attacks to your opponent's active evolution Pokemon. So Rayquaza is not. They need a double colorless energy here to do much. And there it is. So they can do 60 damage total between the 3 Pokemon. Let's top deck something good here. I really need it. That energy is actually very useful. So I can evolve Vikavolt there. Grabbing into Vikavolt. Now I'll have 4 energy in play and can knock out Tapu Koko. So it could be a quick scoop on my opponent's part. Let's strong charge here, a grass and a lightning. And as soon as I put this energy on Vikavolt, they may scoop. So there's the knockout. And now they do not have anything set up. Plus, they can't retreat right away with Passimian. They'd have to put an energy on it. So there's another Passimian. There's a Rescue Stretcher. They're going to put the Tapu Koko back. And the Passimian just increases the amount of damage Passimian's attacks do. So Victini here. There's a Lily. So my opponent is not giving up yet. There's the Passimian I'm used to seeing. 30 damage for each of your bench Passimian. Team play. That is the one they want to get set up. So if I could Guzma into, and they are going to counter catch or something up, which actually helps me out a lot because I will Guzma into this one and knock it out. So that actually hurts. That actually hurts my opponent more than they probably thought. I am going to Guzma up this one and just knock it out. I'm not going to put out the Zeraora yet just because I do not need 10 damage on it from the Shrine of Punishment. I could have started getting energy on it, but that's alright. 150 with Vikavolt is more than enough damage for this deck. Let's Dragon Break and knock it out. The only thing here is I'm only getting one prize card. If they knock out a GX, they get two. My opponent just can't get anything set up. So if they have a double colorless in hand, that'll do a little bit of damage. Sometimes with these decks you see something like Tapu Lele that can move damage around. So you spread damage around, get a lot of damage on my Pokemon, and then move all that damage to one particular Pokemon. Or maybe you're able to take 4 prize cards in one turn, knocking out 2 GX. So next turn here, I'm going to put Zeraora GX out there, Guzma up something, probably that Passimian again, and then just knock it out. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to Guzma up this one. Actually, this one here. And then I'm going to put this one in play. I could just attack with the Vikavolt. I'm not going to. I'm going to retreat it for this, and I'm going to strong charge onto Zeraora. 2. And now I'll have Zeraora set up as well. Just like so. And then I'll use Dragon Break and knock it out. 270 it does now. There's another Rayquaza, so I could get another energy into play. Haven't really discarded much either. I don't know what my opponent can really do because I keep knocking out whatever Passimian they put on their bench that they can actually attack with. And do they have 2 Passimian here? Or did they use the Rescue Stretcher, I believe. Yep, they used the Rescue Stretcher. Already used 2 Rescue Stretchers, and they are going to scoop. So I think this is a great ending point for this video. 3-0. 3 scoops in 3 matches. So there's a look at the Rayquaza GX Vikavolt deck with Zeraora GX. You can see how good the Zeraora GX's ability is, and then once you get Vikavolt set up, the game's pretty much over. I'll take a look at the deck checklist now. 225 little coins there. So let's head on over to the deck manager. And then take a look at the deck checklist. So there you have it. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, make sure to check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.